Hi everyone, I'm Eric.
I'm Rich.
I'm Craig.
And we are Whose Turn Board Games. In today's video we're going to be talking about Power Grid. We're going to be doing a little review of the game and kind of what we like, what we don't like, just kind of having a discussion about it in general. So...
Yeah, this is literally one of my favorite board games I've played. Granted, I guess my board game depth isn't as big as you guys, but I love pretty much every aspect of this game. It's got an auction system where you're buying power plants. I really love that function in a game because it changes how the game's played based on what other people are valuing. It kind of changes what you're doing every time. You know, one time you might be going for those split ones that give you 4, but someone else values it a lot too. It gets auctioned for much higher than 21, like it's going for like 26, and now it's too expensive for especially what you want to do, because now you're also saving money to expand into cities, and it's a give and take of how much power you're getting from your power plants, how many cities you have, how many cities can you build into, and how many resources you're going to be able to get.
Let's see. That's funny to me because I actually, I dislike the auction system. I really don't think it's all that great because I personally don't like auctions. I don't like that. I want to know what I'm paying for. Yeah. So I completely agree with the fact that, hey, yep, we're all going to jump onto 21 if 21 is one of the better ones out there. But it also depends on what's on the board more often than not with, hey, is like right here, for example, for this setup, 37, 40, 50 are all out there. They're very, very good plants in their own retrospect. I wouldn't be anywhere near that 21. But when 21 comes out, everyone's going to jump on it when it's the best power plant, so to speak. So I think that's very much like, it does it very well where it keeps it fresh. And it's not always, this is very stale because it gets rid of that, I think it's the highest costing one until step 3. And then it gets rid of the lowest one altogether. So you have to always be getting new power plants, even if you don't buy any.
Yeah.
So I like that. I just don't like the fact that they can be auctioned, but they're just not something I'm a fan of.
It's very well timed with how they do it too to keep it. So yeah, you're not like, oh well, none of these power plants I really want. You get some of that if you're at the end of the turn, like buying your own power plant and there's nothing there. Then sometimes you just don't buy a power plant so that nothing fresh comes up for somebody else, because it also depends upon when you're going to go next turn. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, I liken it almost to fantasy football with a snake draft versus an auction. A snake, you kind of know what you're going to get. The auction, it's what you want. You can go for what you want, and what you want might, push it higher in value, or maybe you get a deal somewhere because people are sleeping on something, or they have some other idea in mind.
Yeah, I kind of like the auctions more in the early game than the late game, just because early game there's a lot less power plants that are like sought after. Most of the time you'll have like 1 or 2 that hit the board that are really good, and the other ones that are like, I'll take that one because I need to upgrade one of them. I don't really want it because it takes way too many resources, and it's going to be one of the first ones out of my set of power plants that you can have. But then you also got to weigh and math out, okay, how much can I spend on this one if I were to go into an auction war with someone for one of the other power plants.
Yeah, you always have to keep what's your limit, your budget, because otherwise you spend too much on a power plant, you can't buy the resources for it, or you can't build into enough cities.
Yeah, and I think that like the auction part itself, whatever, no big deal. Like getting the power plants is probably my least favorite thing. I love the fact that you have to be managing your money with the resources, and that affects what power plants you're going to be going for. Yeah, everyone wants the green ones if they're going to be cheap because they can just replace ones you're already buying resources for. You can save some money that way. But ultimately, you have to. This is where it is. You make it or break it depending on how well you stock up, and then obviously the routes. Like there's so much strategy involved in this, which is why it's such an amazing game. That it's so well rounded.
Yeah.
Overall,
I think the routes was huge because I think the last time we played, I should have went backwards here along. It was a cheaper route backwards here along the red, purple, whatever color that is.
Red. Yeah. Red.
But I was so focused over here that I started building to all these things. And then Eric built out here. And then now I had to pay more to get out there, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what lost me the game, really, was a route thing, not as much the auction resource function.
Just like watching for the amounts, you have to watch when you can place where. If you can sneak into a city for its dirt cheap cost, for like its original cost, you have to. You know what I mean? So it's so massive.
Yeah, even if you can't power it, because it's not like it's
going to save you money in the long run.
And you need those cities by the end of the game anyway.
Yeah.
You need to have so many cities powered. Whether you can power it right away or not, that is moot, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the cheaper route when it's a couple players is trying to go up here because all the connector fees are significantly less. And you don't technically get any plus or negative to go into some of these over here that have like 15 or higher connection route over something that has no connection route price. Like, it's not like those cities over there to go into them are cheaper. They're the same price. It starts at 10, goes to 15, then 20 for the third. But after that, like...
Oh, that... Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think that's such a minute point. Like, you want to get out there early just to save yourself the money. But you also, like, I got blocked off the last time we did it. Like, you guys, you can literally block people off from being able to expand their cities. Like, I couldn't buy anywhere. I couldn't buy anything anywhere. I was completely enclosed. I had 4 cities I could do anything until we hit phase 2, which it's all perfectly timed, I think. Where it even says in the book you can sometimes skip, I think, phase 2 and go right to phase 3. I've never seen that. I don't know how that'd be possible, but it could be done.
Yeah.
I guess with 6 people. But then I like the fact that it starts off with the players, so you go, 1 through 6 for this way. But then it reverses for that, and then it, do you know what I mean? Like, I like that, like you said, the snake, where it kind of adjusts it, so it's not just, first player gets best in slot the whole time. It's, okay, you're first for this, but then you're last for these other 2 things, which is the catch-up mechanic, and I love that.
Yeah, I've never felt out of a game of Power Grid, even when you were blocked and you won the game. Yeah. So you were blocked, you literally couldn't buy cities, but now you're, you can build up resources, you can get the best, power plants, and then when you can, explode when you expand.
Yeah.
So it's still about resource management when you, even if you get blocked off, you're still planning, okay, when I get freed, what can I do where? And then, you can reverse that pretty quickly. But you gotta plan it. There's a lot of, maybe that's the big con. This game takes a long time.
Yes.
And there's a lot of...
when you're playing with this man.
Yes, paralysis by analysis.
Analysis paralysis is the worst with you. Oh my god.
Hey, you gotta plan your moves.
I'm well aware of that, but you can plan your moves well, everyone else is making theirs. I don't know. I react a little bit faster, but this game is very much... You do need to do that, not so much in order to win, but to keep it closer. Otherwise, if you're just spending stuff left and right, all of a sudden you're like, well, I have no money and I really want that power plant. Well, you're SOL, sorry. Or I can't buy my resource. You need to plan some.
Spent too much, now I can't buy the resources to actually power the power plant that I just bought.
Or I want to go out into 2 cities, here's my cost for that. Well, by the time I get there, I might have needed more because I bought resources and I got screwed out of that.
Or someone else went to the same city you were going to, now you need to spend $5 more, and you don't have it because you spent an extra $5 on the auction.
Yeah, and as I would say, the worst part about this game is the length. I love this game, but it can take a hot second for it to get done because there's so much to think about.
Yeah, especially if you play with multiple players. I think we've only really played this game with 3 or 4 players max.
No, we played it with 5 originally. There was one time, because I think Stevie and Tom
were playing with us once. Yep. Yeah, that could
be. I think we had 5 because there was one spot we've never had a 6-player game though, and I don't want to.
Why not? That'd be amazing.
I find, I know back in the day for like WoW raids, it was 40 people who could set aside 8 hours of their night after work.
It's hard to find 6 people to set aside 5 hours to play Power Grid.
Because with 6 people, it would be 5 hours.
Yeah, what? 2 hours? Yeah, right.
That's a lie.
2 hours with maybe 2.5 hours with 3 people.
I think
2 hours with 2 people.
I think that each is supposed to be a plus. 2 plus hours.
2 hours.
2 hours minimum. Yeah, if you're playing with 2 people.
And I understand why they did that because who wants to buy a game that says it's definitely going to take you 2 hours to play this game? Just sit your butt down. But no, overall, definitely one of our group's favorites, and just thoroughly enjoy this game. Definitely would recommend checking it out. So with that, well, let's go into the scores. I would give this one a solid 8.8, and it's not that I don't love it. I love this game a lot. I just think that it does so much that it could probably do a little bit less, so to speak. And I think that it does it all very well. It's you get done with this game and you don't want to think for the rest of the day. And I kind of don't like that. Like, this is the only game you're playing that day if you're playing a game. So that's not really my forte, so to speak. But I still love the game. I will always attempt to play it.
Okay. This is my game, my style of game. It's probably going to be my highest score I give a game, at least that I know that I've played. I'm sure there's going to be other games that are going to wow me. But I think I'm going to go with a 9-4. And it's just such a solid game. I'm trying to think of things that are negative, and the only thing I can think takes a long time. But if I have the time to do it, I love those 3 hours that I'm playing this game. Mm-hmm. So I can't really hold that too much against it too. But I think it works. Everything works together so well. Everything interacts very well. You can't really... Now, if it was a 3-hour game, and if you fall behind on turn 3, you're done for the game, basically, and you can't catch up, then it would be a terrible game. But I think it has its catch-up mechanisms. I think you're never really out of it till the end. It's just maybe that person that's been slightly more efficient the whole way is going to take it out, but you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Score-wise, I'd say probably like a low 9.1. Really love this game. It's very well balanced in the way it is. There's not really any expansions. There is, but we've never really played with them because we just love the game how it is. And there's a couple different boards, but we haven't played with any of those either.
The expansion can be playing Deutschland.
Yeah.
I think or maybe we tried it once.
No, I don't think we ever
You just don't know where you're going. So it's
isn't that on the backside?
Yeah, we'll just play it with US.
But like I said, it's a really fun game. I really like the resource managing to get your resources and your stuff that you need to spend the money for it, and then trying to figure out, okay, how many cities can I power versus how many can I actually build to, and just trying to find that balance to be able to get as much out of each round as possible. I do like this game because I almost feel like it puts a cap on people to not be able to just absolutely run away with the game super early. And like what Eric was saying, he was pretty much blocked in phase 1 to where he couldn't really do much. And that ended at a perfect position or perfect time to where he was able to catch up with us quickly enough and ended up winning the game, whereas me and Rich didn't just purposely block him out and then he couldn't do anything the rest of the game. If this game was one where I would sit down and after 40 minutes of playing I can clearly see that I have no chance of winning and I'm going to lose by quite a bit, I would probably not want to play it as much. But
yeah. No, just the fact that you buy your power plants first and then you buy your resources last, that's massive. Because then you're spending probably the least amount, or at least you're getting the best power plant, but you have to be so smart with your resources. And I love the fact you can rearrange your resources, you can do all that stuff, but I think that the catch-up mechanic is probably what sets this game apart. It's so, I don't say perfect, but so great games that if you like high strategy games, this needs to be in your collection. This is definitely something we've had for a long time, and it has been one of our favorites to play. Yeah. We don't play it as often as we like, just because we like playing other stuff, and we have very limited time because we are very busy adults with very busy adult things to do. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately. But yeah, love this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
absolute favorite.
Very decently heavy strategy without it being like a war game or an area control game like Scythe or Twilight or any of those type of games. So
this is made well before any of those. They probably got inspiration.
Yeah, that is. This game is a little older, so but it is still in print, I believe. So you can typically find it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our thoughts on the game. So thank you very much for watching the video. Hope you liked it. If you did, give it a like. If you want to leave a comment on if you've played it, if you enjoy it, what do you like about the game? Is there something you dislike about the game? Like, do you absolutely hate the resource management of it, but you love everything else? Do you hate how balanced it is? I don't know what you can find about hating this game, but
do you hate
It's
the
hard to
auction
hate,
system?
yeah, exactly. I just dislike that just because I don't like auctions in general. That's just me personally, but I also understand why it's there. But leave that in the comments down below. If you like the game, if you want to check it out, by all means, we have a playthrough of this as well as how to set it up and how to play it on the channel as well. So check those videos out if you're a little more interested in it. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you all for watching. I've been Eric.
Rich.
I'm Craig.
And till next time, whose turn?